Welcome to RSS DI TV 2020. I'm Dr. Sanjay Kay, and on behalf of VOCAD RSS DI TV 2020, I welcome you all. I'm glad to have with us today Dr. Sudha Vidyasagar from Manipal. Dr. Sudha is a professor of medicine at Kasturba Medical College, Manipal, and Madam is actively involved in teaching the undergraduates and postgraduate students. Welcome, Dr. Sudha, to the show. Based on your current talk in RSSDI 2020, we would like to know what are the infections specific to diabetes?
As you all know, diabetics are prone to many infections. They are prone to urinary infections, respiratory infections, skin infections. But there are some infections which are very specific to diabetics, which occur more in diabetics than in the general population. Examples being emphysematous cholecystitis, emphysematous pyelonephritis, necrotizing fasciitis, mucormycosis, and malignant otitis externa. So these are infections that occur much more in diabetics than in others.
Thank you, madam. What are the challenges which usually a clinician faces when these infections are to be diagnosed?
Right. The problem with almost all these infections is that they present with very non-specific symptoms. For example, if a diabetic complains of pain in the ear, most often people think that it is some common infection in the ear, some CSOM, or some other simple thing. But it could be a malignant otitis externa, which can actually progress very fast. And it can go into the brain and patient's life can be threatened. Similarly, when we see necrotizing fasciitis, many times diabetics come with some cellulitis kind of picture. There's some redness, there's some swelling in the leg or in the arm, and everybody thinks, okay, it's only a cellulitis, and they start treating it. But then necrotizing fasciitis will begin as small blebs, and by 12 hours, sometimes we see in the wards, within 12 to 24 hours, it will progress so rapidly, the patient will go into sepsis and septic shock. Similarly with mucormycosis, what begins as a small crusted lesion in the nose, which patient thinks it's some kind of clotted blood or something sticking in the nose, will just go into the brain and then invade the brain and cause venous thrombosis and venous infarction and intracranial tension. So like this, many infections, even emphysematous cholecystitis, presents as just simple abdominal pain. So what we must remember is that these patients with these infections will not present as if they are gravely ill in the beginning. They begin as very simple symptoms. And if we are not aware that this could be something dangerous, we may miss them. If we do not do the appropriate investigations or are not aware that these could cause life-threatening problems, we may lose life, or in the case of necrotizing fasciitis, we may lose a limb. Many of our patients with diabetes with necrotizing fasciitis have landed up with amputations. Now, this is because treatment is not started on time. So that's the important thing. That's why it's important to be aware of these infections and diagnose them early.
Yeah, that calls for the next question, ma'am. Are these infections really treatable?
Now, the good news is that they are all treatable. The bad news is they are recognized late. So the treatment does not become effective if it is given late. So the most important thing is recognition and immediate starting of treatment. For example, if you have a rhinocerebral mucormycosis, immediately antifungals can be given, and you can save the patient's brain and the nose and the eyes, all of which can be invaded by the mucormycosis. Similarly, for necrotizing fasciitis, if we start treatment early, we put antibiotics in early, take a consultation with the surgeon, go for repeated debridements, then the leg can be saved. We have so many of our patients who came with necrotizing fasciitis with diabetes were all done well. The point is that early treatment can save life and can save limb. The second thing to remember is that we cannot treat them for a short duration. Many of these things like malignant otitis externa, they all require 6 weeks of treatment. Similarly, rhinocerebral mucormycosis may require 6 to 12 weeks. Necrotizing fasciitis may require repeated debridement, not once, many times, to save the leg. So we must be aware of the organisms which cause these conditions, which are the best drugs for this, which antibiotic, which antifungal, in what dose, and for how long. If we know that and give the correct treatment, most of these things are reversible. Previously, for emphysematous pyelonephritis, many times we had to actually go in and do a nephrostomy and drain the pus. In the last 10 to 15 years of my experience, we have not done that at all because we have diagnosed it early. As soon as the patient comes in with a urinary infection, which is upper urinary tract, we go for a CT scan, we identify the emphysematous pyelonephritis and immediately put them on broad spectrum antibiotics like third generation cephalosporins or carbapenems. With that, I am proud to say that in the last 10 to 15 years, we hardly had to do any drainage or remove the kidney. None of this has happened. So that means that if we are aware of the condition and we start the treatment early, give adequate dose and maintain the kind of monitoring that we need, many diabetic patients can come out successfully from all these infections.
Thank you, madam, for sharing your views, and stay tuned to RSSDI TV 2020 for more recent updates from RSSDI 2020. Thank you so much.
Thank you.